face and start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares on the best part of my day.
The goods from the woods.
Hot damn!
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
Pat Riley.
Mr. Goodnight, man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
And today we're joined by one of the best damn comedians to ever come out of the Rocket City. My friend, co-producer of the show Unnecessary Evil.
Tushar Singh.
Yeah.
There you go.
What is
Thanks
the
for having me,
Rocket
guys.
City? That's Huntsville?
Huntsville, Alabama.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, Rocket City, Space City.
Yeah, that's where the space camp is. Yeah,
Space Camp, yeah. If you went to Space Camp as a kid, they
yeah. If you won on Double Dare, that's where you ended up. Yeah,
yeah.
It's where it's the solid rocket booster city. So it's the city that was in charge of carrying the shuttle up into orbit.
yeah.
Yeah. And everything is named after
Werner von Braun,
Yeah,
yeah.
Werner von Braun. Yeah. So
And other assorted Nazis.
yeah, exactly.
And it's all a huge cover for the giant military-industrial complex.
Oh, it's not even a cover. It's just out in the fucking open.
Yeah, NASA's gone. You're right.
The military industrial complex is just out on display there. Literally on display on the road when you drive through Huntsville. There's the rocket ship in the middle of the two lanes of the interstate.
I'm a big fan of all the various industrial complexes. Military industrial complex, the prison industrial complex, the Hollywood
Media industrial complex.
the media industrial complex.
What
Thank
about the
you.
industrial complex?
That's great. Yeah.
Cranes,
That one's crazy.
Yeah.
tank treads, all that shit.
Weird warehouses where there's storage places where people practice and yeah.
Oh,
Is
am I gonna
Huntsville
start
where
this?
they made the Challenger boosters?
Probably,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
so.
We have a middle school. We have a Challenger middle school. So you're welcome. I mean, sorry.
Don't think I want to go to school there. They take 7 students every year, and
Yeah,
they need a new one after the end of the semester.
right.
Well,
right.
actually, it's 6 students and a teacher. Yeah.
yeah. The teachers that when they get fired, literally.
That was pretty insensitive.
That was pretty insensitive. Yeah, it was bad. Speaking of which,
If it was 1986, you'd never work in this town again.
Never work in Huntsville again as it is.
Never work in Cape Canaveral again.
My favorite Werner von Braun thing ever is the comedian Mort Saul, who used to famously would go out on stage with a newspaper and just make jokes from the newspaper. There was a movie they made about Werner von Braun called I Aim for the Stars. And Mort Saul flips to the page where it says it's an advertisement. He goes, "Oh, look, it's the movie I Aim for the Stars, but sometimes I hit London." So there's, but yeah, you're from according to the joke, from Pennsylvania, and then moved to Alabama.
Yeah, I was born in Pennsylvania and then moved in the 2nd grade to Huntsville. And then I wrote it out till I left
Yeah,
for college.
Where did you go to school?
Georgia Tech.
Oh, okay. So you went to Atlanta first.
Yeah, and then I got my MBA, as all good comedians do.
Did you
right
get your
afterwards.
MBA at Schiller?
No, what is that?
That's a Georgia Tech business school.
No. I got it at University of Alabama.
Ah.
Oh, really? You went to UA? I didn't even know you went to UA. Okay.
Yeah, I went to the Huntsville branch, but I did take some classes at the old
old T-Town?
T-Town.
Yeah.
Man, it's weird growing up there with a bunch of, I
was gonna say, like, you
you know what you guys don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're in the right room for that. Yeah, it's happening all over again. But yeah, I know you talk about that on stage, that whole thing of like, growing up in that environment. But like, did you ever go like mud riding or any shit?
I did. I was just about to say that. I mean,
like the most like white trash shit you ever did.
In high school, I lived in a place. Like before high school started, I lived in a place where it was zoned oddly. So I either go to Grissom or Huntsville. And Huntsville High is a little bit more country, but it's like really rich country. So all my friends had like big old tires, Confederate flags hanging, huge.
Yeah.
And then they would wait for a good rain and to get out there, and then just like they couldn't wait to get stuck.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
Mud bog.
It was bizarre.
Yeah, we have the where I grew up, we have a giant mud boggin.
What,
like,
is that what it's called?
convention, yeah. And it's just
It's always just called muddin' where I'm from.
mud. Yeah, it was called Mud Bog, and it was like 50,000 people show up behind the flea market.
Oh, that's some like
and they
professional
just
shit,
no,
right?
but it's not even professionals. It's like amateur professionals. So it's just like
It's not even
a bunch
there
of
yet.
dudes.
Open micers.
Yeah, no, it's like a bunch of guys that
mic
just
for
like
mud
yeah.
It's the open mic for
Their whole year they spend all their disposable income souping up their, giant Ford Rangers, with helicopter engines to just tear that mud up. And you can hear it. You can hear it through the entire town.
Mudfest Part 2. Saturday, August the 9th at 1 p.m. Bog Pit and Hill and Hope Pit passes $5 each. ATV drags at 1:30. The Exhibition Rock Wall. After dark, it's mud wrestling and bikini basketball. $250 to win. And the Badlands Wet T-shirt contest. $1,000 to win. Live music from the original mud digger himself, Winnie Cooper. ATV riding all weekend. Admission to the park only $10 per person. The last party day of summer at the Badlands. Brought to you by Schaefer Oil, Stanley Construction, and Strickland Towing.
Yeah, and they get like, I don't know, Sawyer Fulton to perform or something like that. Or
I've seen some good
whatever.
rooster tails.
It was Sawyer Brown. Sawyer Fulton's a wrestler.
Oh, I was like, who the fuck is Sawyer Fulton?
I've been part of several potato gun situations. Oh man! Like the construction of it, the design of it, the spray gun, the hairspray, the whole thing. It's fascinating.
Ever have one blow up on you?
No.
It's terrifying.
I've been in a situation where we went in the middle of the night and we paintball gunned down cows. You guys ever done that?
You gunned them down. How many
cows, huh?
paintballs did you shoot at this?
Just
fucking thing?
go to a nearby thing and just and then just giggle and leave.
The one we did, my grandparents had an apple tree that produced these like apples that were just shit. Like you couldn't really eat them. They were pretty much good for applesauce and wine, and that's about it. But you could get the cows to eat them, but you had to nail them in the head with it first. Like they wouldn't just eat the apples on their own. So my cousins and I would go out in the field with bushels of these like shitty apples and just chuck them at cows. And then if you nailed the cow in the head, it would fall on the ground in front of him. It would go,
It's kind of like
and eat it.
cornhole, but not at all.
I just love how growing up in the South, like you just are an annoying, destructive jackass. That's your like activities.
Yeah.
That's your hobby.
Yeah,
That's
to
my.
just destroy things.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things that happens out here, where I'll just tell I tell a big group of people some shit like that, and everybody just stares at you. You're like, what? What did you do? Like that sounds horrible. It's like, hey man, that's
I also have memories
That's how
of
it
going
goes.
around and like in the middle of the night shooting out streetlights with the BB gun.
Oh yeah, hell
That
yeah,
was a good one. That was
Damn.
fun.
My favorite is like in high school we'd have pallet fires.
Oh, yeah, we
You'd
do
have a
that.
pallet
What is
fire.
that?
You just get a bunch of pallets.
You get the wooden,
bonfire.
Oh,
the wooden pallets
and
from
then-
behind the CBS.
yeah.
And
Have a
then
bonfire.
somebody's cousin who's on probation comes by with his knockoff AK-47 and just shoots into the fire. Just fun stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, or in our case, you put the aerosol can
Yeah.
in the fire, and when and are making out, it explodes,
Yeah.
and everybody laughs because they're kissing too close to the fire. Anyway.
And then something catches on fire and somebody just yells, "Pour beer on it!"
yeah. Or and then if someone gets injured, of course, there's vodka you can just pour on the wounds. Yeah, that happened. We used to do what we would refer to as a country voyage, where we just basically made my friend Miles, who had this giant Suburban. Like if you remember those like GMC Chevy Suburbans from the 80s that are like literally like 30 feet long.
Yeah,
Like,
and they have Suburban written on the side and like the logos in like Hanna-Barbera font.
Yeah, exactly. So it was one of those, like a really long one. It was beige and beige and brown, and we would basically just make him go like haul ass through a cow field and hit bumps really fucking fast. And the idea is the car is so long that if you're sitting in the very back of the car, you fly up and like smash your head on the roof, and it's so much fun. but
So much.
And if you want to get spicy, you can plow into a porta potty or something like that.
well, we would mainly just like go over like creeks and stuff because it was this huge vehicle. And but yeah, I do remember my friend Caroline just like bashed her elbow. It was like bleeding everywhere. And so we just like, well, we could pour vodka on it, and so that was what we did. And we poured vodka on it.
Nurse, right?
Well, she's a nurse now.
She knows now.
Yeah. This was
Practical training.
yeah. So we just poured vodka on it and then wrapped the arm in toilet paper. So of course. You do what you do. Yeah, it's sterile.
As long as that hasn't been used.
Yeah. It's been sitting in a cabin for 40 years, but it's still there. It works.
Toilet paper is very all-purpose.
Yeah.
Napkins. I mean, you name it.
Have you guys spent a lot of time in the woods?
Oh yeah, man. I'm an Eagle Scout. Spent lots of time in the woods.
We bring the goods from the woods.
That's right.
No, that's why I
We have
asked.
to go to the woods first
Yeah,
before we can do this.
yeah,
Actually, it's an arcane James Brown reference.
yeah. It's a reference to James Brown.
Yeah.
Coming out of the woods to deliver the goods.
Coming out of the woods to deliver the goods.
Just sweating.
Yeah,
Woke
very-
up this morning
High
all
on
in heat
cocaine.
down.
Yeah.
Couldn't find a dry spot from my head down to my feet.
Yeah, it was that evil James Brown era when he had a mustache and he was evil James Brown.
he was just doing. Him and Ted Turner were doing all the cocaine in Georgia.
Yeah.
And sweating it all out real fast, too.
Yeah, and they filmed the whole thing. Did you guys know that whenever you Google the goods from the woods, and we should start a beef with them. There is a convention for people who make like shit out of wood called the Goods from the Woods.
Sponsorship.
in Minnesota.
Good sponsorship opportunity.
It's like
Smart. That's that MBA working right
yeah,
there.
yeah, that's right. But it's like a woodworking.
It's going to be a hilarious business proposal. I'll put together.
It's like a
Yeah, we have Cal Abramson on this episode to talk about driftwood.
Get some of that book. It just
Comes about wood. Today we have plywood.
Yeah, we quit comedy and just moved to Minnesota and just build shit out of wood. That's what it is. It's just like a craftsman
What was
festival.
that one? We can get that guy that had that show on PBS, the woodworking show.
You're not talking about Bob
Bob
Vila.
Vila?
No,
again,
not
are
Bob Vila. It's another guy, and he's like a woodworker, and he looks like my dad, and he's just like frazzled, and he's just like, "Well, I'm gonna make me a table today," you know.
This is one of those places where we like to use the hewing hatchet because it's flat on one side and beveled on the other. So you see, this is flat on the. Ooh, woo! Did I cut myself then? And you do cut yourself, but that's a nice clean gash. No problem. No problem. And we're going to see little spots of red everywhere on this thing for the rest of the show, but that's okay. A lot of my stuff has that on it. It's kind of a trademark.
Major funding for the Woodwright Shop is provided by
Come see the softer side of Sears.
Well, shit, let's get them.
Yeah.
How hard could it be?
Get some furniture out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. You could make the table while we talk.
Seriously, I could use a table and a new dresser, actually. So, I mean, hell, if you're listening, come on by.
Yeah, you're invited. But yeah, I don't know. But I always see that festival, and I always think we should either we should start a war with them, or we should just go to Minnesota and set up a booth at the festival and just talk shit about people's like coffee table they made or whatever. You know,
roast their wood. Wood roasting.
Furniture roasts. You call yourself a credenza, you look like an attaché.
You call that a chifferobe?
I think Goods from the Woods is a really great show. It's it's advertised as being a unique collection of woodworkers. We all get so inundated with advertising that you hardly pay attention to, unique collection. But it really is.
When did you go to India?
So I went to India earlier this year. Actually.
It was earlier this year. That's right.
January 2015.
And you'd been before?
I've been a bunch. So I went when I was a kid, from like age 0 to 10, I went to India probably every year for up to 3 months. Like my family just never stopped going back and forth.
Okay.
So I was basically working the road to India at an early age.
Yeah.
And it was really, I don't know, it kind of fucked me up now the more I think about it, because it's like I learn English and I'm kind of shy at school, and then all of a sudden I'm in India for 3 months and I'm kind of super shy there.
Yeah.
So all this shit's building in my head. I don't really know how to say it.
Yeah.
So like I don't know what better. It's a good catalyst for comedy, I think.
Right.
What part of India did you go to? Because ain't it a lot different depending on where you're at?
Yeah, it's super regional. So there's like 50 dialects within this. Like every state to state, you can't talk. So it's like going to Nevada, and you won't be able to like communicate with them unless they know English or Hindi, and that's
right. Oh shit!
Order.
Okay, so
it's fragmented like that. But my family's from the middle. It's from where Delhi is, the state that Delhi is in. It's called UP. It's called Uttar Pradesh, and it's the most populous state in India, and it's just a giant clusterfuck of people.
Like Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Only worse.
Yeah.
No, it's not, no, because like, it has no, like no,
It's not worse?
No, it's way worse.
So you have people going through your garbage at night.
No, people are your garbage at night. It's pretty bad.
That sounds wow.
But it's just too many people, and it's they speak Hindi, and it's interesting. There's the group of people who left from like the 70s or whatever. Like a lot of people left. So the people who are like my dad and that generation, they were the cream of the crop of India.
The brain drain.
We're talking about massive.
That's what they used to call it.
Massive brain drain. So now it's different. Now the borders are kind of opened up. Like C graders come here and make a good living, whatever. Or you stay there because the money's there now. So, but at that point it was like the cream of the crop leaving. So it's kind of interesting to be like held in this, like once they left India, they kept it the same in their head, but India kept on changing. So that's also weird to kind of experience. It's pretty liberal there,
That's got to be insane when you're a kid taking that long trip. Because that takes like, 20 hours to get to India?
Usually there's a stopover, it's 2 8-hour batches with, an hour either way.
Where's the stopover usually? It's Frankfurt
or London.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
So God, that's a fucking haul.
And doing comedy
Especially
there
when you're 3.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you deal with it as a kid. You can train a kid to do anything.
Yeah,
but if you just take them all of a sudden at like 7, like you're probably gonna have problems. But I went every year for the first like 10 years of my life. Like it was a pretty normal thing.
Yeah, and
anything annual.
What was so you have relatives there?
Yeah, it was just. I mean, we would go back home to joint families, like 6 families living under one roof.
Yeah,
and we just hang out there.
Oh wow,
for like weeks.
So you had potato guns and shit like that in Alabama.
Mud bogging and
well, no, I was going to ask.
Hyderabad.
You had like
mud bogs.
You had mud bogging and potato guns in Alabama. What was like the fun shit that you got to do as a kid?
Cricket and just hanging out with like just all the fam playing.
Do you
cards.
play cricket?
No, I don't play at all. I never got into.
Never
it.
done a test match?
Yeah.
Or whatever they call it?
No.
Are you a left-hand spinner?
I always found it kind of interesting to watch them because my view on sports is generally like I'm just jealous of people who can like love something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same as religion when someone's like, "Oh my God, I'm very devout." I'm like, "Fuck, good, great. I want to watch you pray." And I like watching sports fans watch sports. Like I like playing sports, but I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah,
I like watching them mostly.
You like watching them mostly?
Yeah, so I'm glad other people like
it.
I'll
watch you watch something
anytime.
All right,
seriously,
you
watch me watch a video game. That's a classic.
You should just come. We all watch wrestling whenever there's a pay per view. You should come for that because
that's probably fascinating.
That's easy to get into too. It's like
wrestling's huge in India at that time growing up. There's
really,
there's American influence throughout the whole thing.
Yeah,
I remember this like 2 times before I went. So I went since as a kid a bunch, and then I went as an adult. I didn't go for like a decade, like when I moved to Huntsville and like after 10, and then I went again like when I was 21. My grandmother passed away, and my cousin, I think it was like my cousin took me aside and he was like, "You got to see this stuff," and it was what was that show? The show that's the nerd show, the TBS show that's really popular. Or Fox.
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Oh, okay.
He had all of them saved on his hard drive. He's like, check this out. This is the greatest show. Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, that American culture is kind of there, at the same time.
Oh, dude, I think I offended. I'm a tour guide, right? So I think I offended this Australian family. He's like, oh, we just love Big Bang Theory. We think it's great, And I was like, yeah, that show is kind of like what stupid people think smart people are like. And they're just... They shut down.
I love the idea of you just driving people around who pay you and you just trying to piss them off the whole time.
While you're wearing a safari hat.
Who is this asshole?
Rivers wearing a safari hat when you saw him at the Grove.
It's a Panama hat, thank you.
Oh,
no,
sorry.
It wasn't a pith helmet or something.
It's a Panama hat, and no, I have a wide variety of hats just inside the closet there. It was the LA Dodgers hat I was wearing.
We should do a tour of River's closet sometime. See all the hats.
Yeah, he's got a lot of detergent.
Well, one of them
guy.
is fabric softener, one of them's almost empty, and one of them's full.
Okay.
So
India has a strong wrestling tradition, doesn't it?
So there's this one game called Kabaddi.
Yeah.
and it's basically I don't really know the rules, but basically it's one guy who's trying to make it to the other side, kind of like football, but he has to in one breath he has to say gubbity 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 gubbity, and he has to go on the other side while people try to wrestle him down. And they're usually shirtless, and it's hilarious.
Does he have like a little mic? How do they know he's saying
No, he's just saying it. He has to say it in one breath. That's the rule.
Does it mean anything, or is it nonsense?
I don't know. I think it means gubbity. I think it means the game. It's
So you
like
say
it's
the
like playing
game's name.
connect four, connect four, connect four, connect four, connect four.
Canasta.
God, that'd be irritating as shit.
That's inventive though. They ought to do that with one of the wrestling pay-per-views.
Well,
or
no,
something,
I mean
a gubbity
the thing
match.
about India is like they when they go to the Olympics, they don't do well in most things outside of like field hockey or something
And
like that.
sharpshooting.
Yeah, but like India has a lot of weird regional sports.
Yeah, that don't amount to any Olympian level.
I'd watch the shit out of Olympic comedy. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah, just some wild shit that like 3 countries play. That'd be awesome.
And they don't do cricket at the Olympics.
No.
Is cricket even popular in England still?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's
it is
big
still?
in, it's
It's
big
just
in
not
the
as much
Commonwealth.
as-
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was all football now.
No, it's like
football's everything. Football.
Well, no, it's like the West Indies. It's huge, like in Jamaica and stuff, and then in Australia, it's huge, and in Britain. When I went to Britain, it was during like one of the big cricket World Cup deals.
Was it a test?
And and people were acting
into it.
Yeah. They were into it. It was on like the front page of the newspapers and stuff like that.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel with every sport.
Yeah. That's Rob Gronkowski.
Who are these people?
No, it's the fact if you don't culturally follow a sport, they all kind of look like nonsense.
Yeah.
Every time I see soccer, I'm like, it's 2 mobs and a ball. What's the big deal?
2 mobs. That's one of my favorite things. Is they'll
2 mobs and a ball.
It's true.
Like
and then they have color, yellow. What the fuck does that mean?
like the tourists and stuff from other countries will just be like, oh, what are like the most popular sports? I'm like, well, it's football by a long shot. Baseball and basketball are kind of tied, and then it's chess, ice dancing, and bowling, and then soccer.
Yeah.
Like I'll take any pot shot I can get in at soccer. With a car full of Brits.
Baseball's like ass scratching in pajamas or something like that.
That's what's great about it. Any sport where you can scratch your nuts and chew tobacco is a real sport as far as I'm concerned.
You know what's funny? I recently found myself thinking that and this is a true redneck thought, that I'm a better, like, let's say there's an Indian like me, my same dude in France. I'd be like, I'm better than that guy. That's such an American fucking #1 Indian diaspora.
Hell, man, that's the way to look at it. That's a little bit of that wrestling flair right there.
Fuck
World
you, man.
champion.
Fuck you. Get out of my face.
See that in a potato gun fight.
The world diaspora champion. Man. That's great.
So the most recent time you went to India, was that the first time you'd performed there?
No, I went once. I went with the Rotary Club, and this is part of one of my jokes I told. But I went with this group called the Rotary Club, and they have this group study exchange program. So I was living in Alabama. My father had just passed away, so I moved from New York, and I moved back to be with a family. And this group called the Rotary Club was like, they send people to different areas of the world, and they kind of do this kind of global exchange.
Yeah.
And so the whole deal was you go there for a month with a group of Americans, and I'm considered American by all standards. And we went to like 17 cities in 30 days. Like literally went to city after city, all in Maharashtra, which is where Bombay is. Like we got housed by different families. Like we went to a place in a van together. Then all these local families picked us up. We stayed there, ate there, and then we did that. And you're supposed to. It was a study for like work. Like you go there to see what your work is like there. So we had a librarian with us. We had a power plant guy. So every city we try to hook us up with what you're trying to do. And I was like, I'm a comic. And I was literally like a year and a half in. So I'm not a comic, but I say I'm a comic.
Right.
And so every city I just thrown up there in these bizarro, you're going to die in comedy situations. Because it was local villages and they didn't understand my Hindi, much less English.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was built. So that was technically my first time doing comedy.
So they like make you do it though?
They made me do it. Because I said it, right?
Oh, so you said...
I said I do comedy.
Were you performing with Indian comics?
So like every city we had to give like a little presentation.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And in that presentation, they're like, and then we have Tushar, who's a comedian.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, and they don't understand me at all. It was a nightmare. It was pretty hard. But this last time I went was for comedy. It was set up for shows. It was,
and they were.
I got all the shows. So this last time I did 4 cities. Comedy's only viable in India in 4 cities.
Mm-hmm.
It's only for about 10% of the population. So it's like 1.3 or whatever billion people. So about 100 million people would even understand the world enough to be like, let's go see a comedy show.
Get them all in one place, so it's a hell of an audience.
Hell of a concert.
Like when Ric Flair would do the things in North Korea, where there would be 100,000 people.
250,000 people, and they
I
have no
played
idea.
before 10 million people in India, son.
Wait, North
Now I
Korea?
can't get up on this open mic? What the fuck?
Have you ever heard about this?
No.
So basically, a bunch of WCW guys, so like Ric Flair and the Steiner brothers, got with a bunch of the Japanese wrestlers, and they wrestled in North Korea in like 1994, 1995, or 1993-ish. And
doesn't matter.
Yeah, whatever.
Any
and
time
it was
is
in front,
fucking
and it
weird.
was in
It's
front
North
of
Korea.
Yeah, and it was
Doesn't
2
change that
shows
much.
in front of 250,000 people, and none of the people in North Korea knew what pro wrestling was.
Yeah.
So they like showed up and they were like completely confused as to what was happening.
Yeah.
And the entire time they had these guides that would just show them around and stuff like that. And at the end of it, they were gonna have Ric Flair make a statement about how America is shit and Kim Jong-il was the greatest leader in the world. And Ric Flair had to like sweet talk his way out of doing it because they had his like passport and all of his stuff,
Oh God, that's
there's a
fucking
great
nightmare.
actually Sports Illustrated has a really good oral history about it, and Scott Norton has the best quote, and he was like it's basically the quote, it just says, Scott Norton, professional wrestler, it just says, yo, those North Korean people are fucked up.
I'll say this: if he goes up there and goes, "My shoes cost more than your house," he's probably not kidding.
Yeah, that's right. Also, did you say Scott Steiner?
Yeah, Scott Steiner was.
What the fuck did he eat there?
No,
man
they were
eats
talking
everything but
whatever-
cracker
Oh, no,
bread.
yeah, but they were talking about the food, and Scott Steiner went on
What
this.
is, my food has eyes.
Yeah, but it's
Where are the
written.
biscuits?
But you read it.
hungry.
No, but it's written down, but you can't help but read it in the Scott Steiner voice.
Yeah.
You're just like, the food's terrible. I can't eat any of this.
What is this? Yeah. Oh God.
I'm not eating no mud.
Where did they film MASH?
Is there a Cracker Barrel in here? Bet you the chicken fingers are too small.
If your country has a famine that's lasted 2 years and your other country neighbor has 3 years, there's a 75% chance of eating cabbage
I
tonight.
like to call this place South Korea North.
America flags, Eagles, France sucks. I love that he would shit on France even while he's there.
Maybe they should have had him take out Kim.
I'll put you
in the Steiner recliner.
Doesn't matter, bitch.
Put you in the Steiner screwdriver, Kim Jong-il. You're about 3 feet tall.
It's the only country that move isn't banned.
I won't have to jump to put you in a Frankensteiner because you're so short.
You fat midget.
I saw him on a plane once.
Scott Steiner?
And I wanted to shake his hand because I love the Steiner brothers. They were like my favorite tag team growing up. But I was like utterly afraid of him because he was just like.
Was this Papa Pump era?
Yeah. He dididn't have like the mullet. It was like current Scott Steiner with like the crazy tattoos, but he was like wearing like a black t-shirt and like black pants. He just looked he didn't have the chain mail.
Didn't have the chainmail?
I would love to have
No,
seen
you
him.
can't get that through the metal detector.
Yeah, I was about
on
to
the
say that.
plane.
Oh, that's my
see King
chainmail.
Arthur
Hang
taking
on.
an
Gotta
airplane.
put it in the tray.
This is for all my freaks at TSA.
Holler if you hear me.
Our show is every Friday night, and we had our friend Dan St. Germain did the show, and it's the show. If you've never been, is at the Westside Comedy Theater, which is in Santa Monica, right near the beach. and
just good vibes.
Good vibes all around.
It's so annoying.
And
I love it.
A lot of date nights.
Yeah.
And so we had Dan on the show, and so I forgot who it was. Somebody had never done the show before, and they were just kind of we were in the green room talking, and they were like, "So like, what's the crowd like here?" And before I could say anything, Dan just goes, "They've all just seen the most beautiful sunset you can imagine." And I was like, "That's it. That's exactly it." And then Tushar will drop some sad bombs on him, and it's fucking
At least one.
perfect.
At least one.
I love that shit. Yeah, especially my favorite is when they they're like responding really well, and then you'll just drop like the most depressing shit on them, which is so goddamn funny to me. But so what did you do any of that in India? What was the strategy?
I opened in India with I said the N-word. The first joke. I had months to prepare. Months. And I opened with I made up a joke. So I did a festival, this festival called the Weird Ass Comedy Pajama Festival. So it's like I
love that. How you told me before?
Like sleepy time pajamas or like Indian style
sleepy
pajamas?
time. It was a branding thing. It's by this guy named Veer Das. He's like the godfather of a comedy there. It's a play on words, and like he just had like 7 venues, and he did shows. It was great.
I love that you told me the scene there is what, like 10 years old, basically at the most. 6 years old, and they're already like they already have like American style weird ass esoteric names for their comedy shows and shit. I love that.
Absolutely. They kind of have so the first joke, Obama was there like during that weekend. So that was the first weekend I'm performing. I'm like, Obama's here. I'm American. Let's drop a hilarious Obama joke. And I go up there and I'm like, here's the joke. I was like, so President Obama's here, my president from America. He was talking about President Modi. He was the new Modi, like Prime Minister Modi. President Obama told him that I'm very impressed that you went from tea seller to now Prime Minister. That's crazy. And Modi responded, "Nigga, you're a black guy who's the president of the United States." And people looked at me like I was giving a shitty TED Talk. Like, it was bad. It was bad.
So they didn't... No, that's the worst response. It wasn't a boo.
It wasn't a boo.
It wasn't a laugh.
Confusion. Who's this guy? But then I realized that they look at me as a performer. First of all, stand-up's kind of new, right?
Yeah.
For everyone. So the whole thing's bizarre. And then comics, to go up there and speak your mind freely, that's kind of weird for them because it's literally 6 years old. Like most people don't do that. And then on top of that, I don't sound like them. Like I have pretty good diction, like American diction, and like they're just confused. So I realized, and a lot of people told me, like comics from who are watching me, being like, "Yeah, you can't do that. You have to open and tell them why you are here, why you sound like that, why."
Oh, okay.
So then I had to change it into like the first 45 seconds of every set from then on was kind of like, my parents moved from India in the late 1970s to America, and I'm back here,
motherfuckers.
Doing so that was the perfect setup to be like, that's why I talk like this. I am.
Did you have some good sets over there?
Yeah, I had some really good sets. I had a few sets that were like just so fun and killer, and the room was set up well. There's energy. Everyone did well. There's some shows that I was the only one who did well on. There's some shows that I just sweated on stage and lost my thoughts and wasn't confident. I did kind of, from that first joke, I did back up a little bit, and I was like, let's not try to poke the tiger a little too much here. Let's just try to do a job and not die. And so I got a little conservative in my approach to the rest of the shows. Like, okay, this joke works. I'm going to do that and kind of work on that joke.
So were you doing in Hindi or in English or both?
Both. A lot of comics there do a blend. So they have they set up.
You told me this.
They set up in English. So there's probably so there's looking at the comedy demographics of the whole country. So there's 4 cities where it's happening. Probably 50 comics who can do headlining sets, who can do more than 30 minutes. And then probably another 100 who are just trying open mic level within 3-4 months, within 6 months. So they don't really know who they are at all. And but the guys who are doing it 6 years old, they're like the veterans. They're like the veterans in the game, which is a bizarre thing. And they're really good. Like they're really, really.
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of them on the show, and they're all
strong, and they all have they're they respect the art form because they've watched everything on YouTube.
India sounds like it's actually good comedy training.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
But you mentioned that, it's like a blend of, and I think that's funny because that's like how a lot of like Latino comics roll, where the whole joke is in English and then the punchlines in English, and then they do a tag in Spanish or something like that.
I don't know how well that stuff translates to India because it doesn't translate if you speak English all that good at the time anyway.
Well, English is like the universal. I mean, thanks to the Brits, like it's the universal.
Right.
Like it's everyone's taught it. All entertainment forms are primarily in that. All high end entertainment.
Oh, is that true?
No, all Hollywood, all like.
Oh no, I meant like
English is the lingua franca of the world these days.
Yeah.
People who need to communicate internationally all speak it.
You can't not do it, and so I don't know. So a lot of comics do exactly what you just said. They set up in English.
Yeah.
And the punchlines are some like extravagant act out in Hindi. It's kind of cool. It's cool to watch. And I can do that, which is why it's so fun because I know Hindi enough to do act outs and it's more jarring with me because I don't sound like I can speak Hindi at all.
Oh, that's cool. You can just like bust it out.
So I spring it on them. It's fun because I'll just do that and all of a sudden be like, Tushar matar paneer chahiye. And it's like a little auntie's voice, like an old lady's voice.
Oh, that's funny. It's because you kind of like go over there and they kind of, I guess, hear you and assume like you've been so Americanized, and then you can like kind of.
And the thing is, and I couldn't play there. You know how comedy's the best when you're just like, okay, let me go try this thing, and I got this thing. There, I was always kind of tense. I was like, oh, there's a film crew here with me.
Yeah.
I can't fuck this setup.
Right,
and everything had that tension.
You filmed the whole thing.
So we filmed the whole thing, and the coolest part, one of the coolest things that happened, two cool things that happened. One was a month before we got there, there was a Comedy Central style roast that they kind of produced. And it was like a roast that was two Bollywood kind of stars, like young
sing
stars.
at it and dance.
No, it was straight up. Like Comedy Central.
James Franco roast.
Like 4,000 people in an auditorium. They had Bollywood elite in the front row. They had a dais. They had 4 comics and 4 celebrity people. They had a roast master who's like a director of like a lot of films. Like it was a legit thing.
Was it on TV or was it just live?
And it was live, and they released it the month we were there on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And it immediately got controversial because it was English people about Bollywood, and they're doing anal jokes, and they're doing gay stuff, and being gay is illegal there. It's not a thing you can do, and freedom of speech is not a thing there. So,
Actually, I was going to ask you. What kind of things do comedians talk about there? Do they do? Remember we were talking earlier about when you do things, you do a lot of local stuff. Do they do a lot of local things, or do they stick to like universal themes, or what kind of things do you see comedians talking about?
And you guys have a lot of women in your in the political system.
Yeah, there's a lot of so there's, as far as women go, there's like 3 out of like that number I gave you. So there's not that many, 4 or 5. Like they're there.
It feels about the same when you consider.
And it's hard. No, it's hard because like they
ratio.
get pulled into acting. If they're funny and they're talented, they'll get pulled. People will be like, "You do these lines, and here's some money. Don't do comedy." And there's very few women.
Kind of similar in some ways.
There's very few women who survive that thing and like, I'm a comic. I want to say my voice, and they get through. So there's a few comics who are hilarious. But they have, as far as comics go, I saw like a guy who was 3 months into comedy, and he was wearing a lungi. He was doing a character. He was wearing a lungi, and he did this act out as Gandhi, and it was a Hindi British thing, and it was in English and Hindi, and it was like really like you could see that. You're like, that is innovative. This guy knows what he's doing. He's not just fucking around. He was sober, like he was funny. Like it's like so. There's that, and then there's the comics who are like, they do nothing but fast-paced local political Hindi humor. So that's a whole other world. And then there's everything in the middle. There's like comics who are trying out. They're all English and they have all their references about dating. And then there's a lot of shit to talk about there. There's like the caste system. There's corruption. There's overpopulation. There's U.S. politics, like just like that. Oh, America did this recently. So they're all like, and the thing is, there's no TV outlet. You know how all of us are like, Conan, please,
right? Yeah.
Come on, Conan.
Yeah.
But there's no Conan. I mean, you're not. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're not. Good night.
I'm still waiting to get on fucking Star Search or some shit.
So there's no perfect point. There's no Star Search.
I've got bad news. Ed McMahon is dead.
Yeah.
So there's like
You're not kidding with me. Right?
That last check was a.
Time to fucking tell me. I've been waiting for him and the other guy to come to my door with the giant check
every morning.
Yeah. Don't tell me he's dead too. The New Year's Eve guy Lombardo. He's not dead too, is he?
Guy Lombardo.
But since there's no TV outlet, everyone is just being like, I'm going to make my own stuff. So they're just cranking out their podcasts, their web series, their this, that. They're not waiting for Comedy Central India to show up.
There is no Comedy Central India.
There is, but they're not making any traction because everyone's making their own shit. They don't need them.
Oh, wait, there is a Comedy Central India?
But when there's no industry, you get more creative stuff a lot of the time because people are like, I don't give a fuck, and they just have fun.
And then production value is so low now. You can shoot anything pretty easily.
Yeah.
All the money show-wise is not from gigs. Private gigs maybe, but a lot of them are like corporate gigs.
Yeah.
So like every company in the world is there, and they all have expats there. They all need entertainment for their conference or whatever, and that's how they make all the money. And I have no idea how to crack into that world, but it would be nice to.
And there's a lot of a lot of the Indian comedians perform in like the Gulf states? Because I know that like people like Russell Peters do that.
Yeah,
like,
there's a whole
ton, like in Dubai or
all of Asia started about the same time, 2009.
Yeah,
like around in mid
2000, young Earth creationists.
Yeah. So the comedy world started there, and there's like Bill Burr was. So I saw Bill Burr there. I got to see him perform
in India.
Yeah, and he actually ended up doing a one-nighter on the way back from Singapore, and he did an hour or 15 in front of 700 people. And it was awesome. He killed. It was amazing. I got to interview him back at the Comedy Store when he came back here for the film because it was like we got to see him. We're talking about comedy in India. He hit a lot of like the topics that were because that controversy with the Comedy Central thing had just happened. So he was like he did his set. He was Bill Burr. He didn't change anything. Yeah. But in between his Bill Burr, he just threw in his thoughts on India.
Yeah.
So perfectly. Yeah. He was like, if I was in Delhi, they'd carry me out here. And he had his bits on cricket. Like it was really good to watch a master.
That's been one of
Is that the thing we talked about in the other episode?
What?
Didn't we mention the Bill Burr?
Yeah, he went to India. Yeah, exactly.
Is that they made a movie out of it or something?
Well, Tushars making a movie.
So the trip that I went to India, the tour that I did in India, I took a film crew. And I did a little crowdsourcing thing, and a couple of friends, who's a girl, this girl named Laura Asherman. She's a filmmaker out of Atlanta. So she's like, "I'll come shoot you if you could go do this." And so all of a sudden, we're making a Indiegogo thing. We raised money, and I took 3 people: her, a producer, and the sound guy, and they're with me the whole time. So it was awesome to have like a film crew with you in India doing comedy, but then it was also like
a pain in the ass.
I got mic'd up every morning for the rest of the day. You know, you do that for 34 days. Like it gets to you after day 20. You're like, what the fuck? My thoughts are weird. Anything I say is on tape. Like, so that was
and
really
that's so much content.
So much content. Yeah. We have like 100 hours now. Now we're like, we interviewed Bill Burr. I set up an interview with Russell Peters at the end of next month. So we're going to interview him. He's the Godfather. Like anyone you talk to there, they're like, how did comedy start? When did it start? Blah, blah, blah.
I saw Russell Peters
2003, a special thing out. Everyone heard it. And then he's the person who brought comedy to Asia.
Yeah.
So to your earlier point, there are like, you go to, Japan, Singapore, and there's like a little triangle of shows.
Wow.
So it'd be cool to start plugging people in there.
Yeah.
Asian circuit. Like
I was going to say,
Ichiban Gajin. I love it.
Yeah, we were talking about.
Love me over there because they think I look like what they think Americans look like.
Yeah. Exactly.
You could wear the Uncle Sam hat the whole time.
Oh, I'm going to wear my cowboy hat.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my cowboy hat. I'm going to give them this, and they're going to be like Stan Hansen back again. You understand?
And it's beautiful. They wouldn't even have to understand you because your voice is kind of melodic anyway, so they don't give a shit. Yeah.
I'm serious. I could be knee deep in that Japanese, schoolgirl stuff.
Wow.
This is something to think about.
No, seriously. Just go there. It starts with just going there for
make globalism work for you for a change.
A flight there is under $2,000. So if you figure out those costs, everything else you can take care of it within reason.
Right.
Like every travel's cheap as hell.
Yeah,
people will take care of you. Your comics, like people will open your arms and be like, "Come." I found that like people were just like by the end of this trip. First of all, it was interesting because I did 5 cities, and by the end of the 5 cities, I saw comics from different cities doing repeat shows. There's so few comics, right?
Right.
So that any given night, you're going to work with a handful, and it's so cool to do that because it's the whole country. It's like going to Atlanta and meeting the scene,
right?
But going to an entire country and just being like.
The whole country is your oyster.
Yeah,
you got a lot of fucking people.
Yeah,
up in it, too.
exactly.
One comic got me most of the gigs too. This comic named Sanjay Malaktana. He's a comic.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
he's done
on our show a
few
bunch.
times.
Yeah.
So he got me all my gigs. Like he's all you need is one person to plug you in and be like vouch for you.
Shit,
like,
I know that guy.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah. Seriously, he's helped a few people, but I'll figure it out. So I'm because of that, all those reasons, and it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna move there in December. I still haven't booked my ticket yet, but I'm gonna go there for basically a block of time and try to set up a room or something. Set up a system or room, or either have a show that would warrant people coming there. But it's just like the grand thing is just to do shows there and get better.
Right,
it'd be so fun to just play around there. I'm waiting to do that again.
Have you got like a job lined up, or you just going for the comedy just straight away?
I have the great state of California has unemployment bestowed upon me.
Oh fuck, fuck yeah!
So that fun employment,
really
and
fun.
I also do contract stuff on the side for for advertising, which is I don't want to do that because it's kind of soul crushing, but it's still fun,
right?
Enough to get the money.
Yeah.
How much money do you need to have a consistent standard of living out there?
Probably like $1,500 a month. That's cheap end. That means you're gonna you can't do a gig unless you're getting flown out there. So but flights within the country are under 40 one way at most. So that's kind of cool.
You're constantly flying. You're not driving anywhere.
There's within the city. So Mumbai's a beast. Like that's where I'd move, and it's just a beast. It's like 20 million people, and there's the only comedy club in the country is there.
Wow.
One comedy club, and
so the rest of the shows are just like in like
rest of the shows. There are other venues that are like music venues, or the shows that I did range from doing like I did a cancer ward atrium. They need entertainment. They're like laughter is the best medicine, and then they just called us, and it was like
I know,
4
I read
comics.
in Reader's Digest.
Yeah, it's a quotable quote.
There's festivals,
humor in uniform. Where
there's bars.
They do make you wear the clown nose, like Patch Adams, though.
What was that one with Tom Hanks and Sally Field?
Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Forrest
That's
Gump.
your answer for everything,
They were going to
DJ.
make a sequel to Forrest Gump. They're going to make a sequel to Forrest Gump where he dies of AIDS he got from Jenny. And the second half of the movie, they just run Philadelphia. But no, the one Punchline or something like that. It was this
Punchline.
terrible movie.
Which has the hilarious part where they insinuate that comedians have lockers.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
They come to the club and they're fucking suiting up like they're going to be fucking playing basketball out there.
That's hilarious.
I got my blazer pressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember the guy comes out in the Nun? I can't get past more than even with Sally Field in it. I can't get past a half hour of that shit.
If they made the movie now, it would just be a row of hoodies.
Yeah, a row of plaid shirts and beards.
Yeah,
guys that look like me.
Yeah, and me.
Gee, Dad, I'm not going to be a heart surgeon like you or my brother after all, but I am going to be a star.
He wants to be a comedian.
Well, let's see. We just got these x-rays back from the lab. Let's take a look.
She wants to make people laugh.
I want to learn.
Lady it takes every night. 6 clubs a night, all night.
You have appliances in today's age. I hope this is for a sore shoulder. And I don't want to be intimate with anything that has a 90-day warranty.
And if he's not careful, she just might beat him to the punchline.
You're on the list.
What contest?
Where the winner gets a shot on the Carson show.
Sally Field, Tom Hanks, in the critically acclaimed motion picture, Punchline. Now is the time for serious comedy.
What does that mean?
I was hoping you would know.
Punchline from RCA Columbia Pictures Home Video.
The rest of comedy production in India, outside of that one club and a few other groups. So historical context is that in 2009, there was the Comedy Store London opened a club in Mumbai. And they're like, this is the club. This is the only club here. And they had basically the way they do shows is dual headliners. So they have like 2 headliners. So you guys first headliner does 30 minutes, then there's a break, then the second headliner does 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So every show is kind of structured like that. And so they opened this club. It's in the 3rd floor of this really high end mall. There's like a Louis Vuitton, and then the comedy club, and then like baby, like it's crazy kind of setup. So that in itself like blocks out all the people who are like middle class underish and underish.
Yeah.
Like it's like a high end thing to do. And about 2 years in, it got expensive for the club to keep on flying British comics back and forth, because that's what they do every week. They'd send 2 British comics, and eventually it got like unsustainable. And then the Indian ownership kind of bumped heads with the British ownership. Hilarious historical relapse.
Right.
And then they had basically, now the club is called Canvas Comedy Club.
I thought it was called the Sepoy Mutiny now or something.
And the comedy, the other comedy club, they're kind of decentralized now, so they have a few venues, but everything else is comedy run, like comic run.
Yeah.
So comics, like that's a bar where we can throw a mic in the corner. Here's a night. Here's a drink special. Let's have fun. So in that way, it's like exactly the same as here.
Yeah.
There's a few theater rooms. There's that. But the problem is they don't have like people coming through like anyone we book onto the show. They don't have these people who've been doing it for like 15 years, which is what it takes.
Everybody's been doing it 6.
To be really good, it takes it about that long.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of how long or whatever. Maybe if you do hours for the first 6 years, you might be probably way better. But like, still time. There's something about growing while doing comedy, you know. So I don't know. I'm gonna move there and just kind of figure it out. And I don't want to move there forever, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not a thing I want to do.
Right.
So I want to go there and just kind of explore, do stand up, and then hopefully figure out a deal or a way to get people back and forth. Like that's just fun for me.
Yeah.
And hopefully like the money will be there and all that stuff. And I also do think that I can't, and I had a little bit of this like big dick ego that I'm going to go there and show them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You can do that on stage there?
No, but just show them like, I'm an American comic. But no, these guys are like really good at talking about to their audience, which is them. Like, I can't fuck with that. Right. So my point of view is kind of it's become more universal because of that tour.
Yeah,
and that's why I love, because like comics, they like anyone would benefit out of it.
It sounds like a hell of a thing, man. Maybe that's the future. The problem is maybe every American will be over there, and then it'll be as crowded as it is trying to get on stage here.
Right.
Hell, man, can't even get on stage in New Delhi anymore.
Yeah. But there's a lot of bureaucracy. There's a lot of bullshit you have to go
packed
through.
in there. What is this? The Black Hole of Calcutta or something?
That's the name of the club.
If you had to start,
that's the name of my asshole.
Let me ask the group: if you guys had to start a comedy club in India, what would you name it?
Ooh, that's a good one.
If you get your listeners, please send in your suggestions.
At the Goods Pod.
I thought. So I love Todd Glass, like his analness when it comes to shows, like show production.
Right.
And so I was like, what about the Glass Comedy Club, and have that attention to detail of lighting and sound and
right.
This is when the show starts, this is with the end. Here's the customer flow. Here's how you get drinks, like all that production crap.
Yeah.
So the Glass is on the list.
The Glass is good. I was going for puns. And
you can
stuff.
go for puns.
Kiplings or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe something cricket related.
Yeah.
I mean, it might get butts and seats.
Nan. Menu. Indian food. How about you call it Indian food?
Yeah, call it Indian food.
Call it free beer.
Free.
Titties.
Devolve this into the first strip club in India. Yeah, he went to do comedy, and then he became this porn mogul.
No, you could take it back to the 1950s, and you could just have the comedy and the strip club.
I'm going to start the first Playboy club there.
Yeah.
First Playboy.
Costello and all that shit. That shit was good, yeah.
Just put a smoking jacket on, just like, hey, darling.
Really thin mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going for puns, but the best I came up with was chicken tikka masaha. That was all I got. I was going through Vindaloo's. I was going through all the shit.
Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal. There we go. Yeah. Boom.
Here's the most ideal situation. I go there and I find a hotel that has like a footprint all over.
Yeah.
And say, hey,
let me be your entertainment in the lobby.
Yeah,
kind of deal.
in the lobby or the whatever side room, or if it makes sense. I would never put a
janitor's
show.
closet.
Yeah. I would.
Oh, you know where you put it?
Servant quarters.
No, right next to where they have the ice machine, because everybody's got to go get ice for their rooms. Then they just have a comedian in the ice machine.
Just sit on the ice machine there.
In the ice machine, yeah.
Yeah, just in the ice machine.
Do they have an ice machine there, or do they have to hike up a mountain to get it?
And harvest it and bring it back down from the Himalayas and shit. Yeah, I'm sure they got ice there. Yeah. I wanted to talk about your Instagram account real quick. So Tushar is on Instagram. His Instagram handle is depressing, spelled like his last name, Singh.
So it's depressed, like spelled depressed, and then sing. So 3 S's, and then SNGH.
And basically, and I didn't know, I had no idea how you did this, but until you showed me the technique yesterday. But basically, Tushar takes pictures of old people and gives them a fake name and just puts up pictures of old people, and it's the funniest shit ever. So if you go through Tushars,
is that what it was?
Yeah,
I'd see them on Facebook, and it would just be like Rajiv 2015 or something.
It's
like
old
that.
people from India.
No, it's old people from everywhere.
So when I see an old person on the streets,
I'm pulling it
I
up.
will have a radar on them, like mental lock on where they are, and I'm gonna try. So I take pictures of them with my iPhone without them seeing me or knowing that I'm taking the picture, and they're all portraits. They're all shoulder high portraits, and they're all in public, and none of them know. And I'm kind of...
It's like a perverse version of Humans of New York. But
I don't talk...
Yeah.
So then I would just take the pictures of them.
Yeah, the whole... every one of them is great. We're passing the phone around right now, just looking at these pictures.
My God.
And real quick, my favorite thing was I didn't know this until you told me. Like, I thought that this was like a very noble project where you're trying to whatever, because they all had names, right? And then you just told me like, oh no, I just make up the names.
Well, I thought about talking to them. I thought about like,
that's
hey,
what I thought you did.
Let me tap them on the shoulder and be like, hey, what was the most blah, blah, blah. And like,
you give them those little candies that look like a strawberry on the wrapper, they might get kind of talkative.
People are just like little children. They'll get duped for anything.
Well, hell, man, I mean, I can't fuck, so it brings you back to that time of life. I mean, seriously.
Sugar-free, coffee-flavored Werthers, dog.
Yeah, without the fucking, I mean, what the hell point is there in life other than candy and watching soap operas?
My reasons for doing it have changed through the years of doing it, which is kind of a fucked up sentence. But I have like 600 of pictures now. So I've been doing it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's a skill set to it because their good ones do get more likes, and like there's like a kind of interesting thrill about it.
Yeah. I've seen people post about it, and I don't know if I get the joke, but they definitely don't get the joke where they're like, this Instagram count, has pictures of old people. We just don't think about them enough and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, it's true, but I don't know.
I don't do it as a comic. It is our ultimate, everyone's ultimate and best case scenario.
Right.
To be an old person walking around the world, and you look at it, they're like, holy shit, this guy's probably easily double my age.
Yeah.
And they're walking around like, what the fuck? What are they like? I'm worried about death. Like, what the fuck what are they thinking about?
Some people look good as shit when they're old,
some people
Burt
look
Lancaster
great. Some people are put up, well done. It's like inspirational and sad as fuck at the same time.
Except is it hard to pick up chicks when you're old, like younger ones?
Well,
I don't go for that September sex shit.
Yeah.
I think this would be like December
sex,
December 31st at midnight.
They have New Year's parties.
It's New Year party sex.
I'm just imagining elderly Goodnight just speeding around on his rascal scooter,
just picking
with
up
the
hoes.
American flag on the back of it.
He's on whatever app there is relevant that time of the
No, I wouldn't have an app. I'd have a CB on the scooter.
Breaker 19, Daddy.
I got one of those. I got one birthday last week. I was trying it out the other day.
Do you have the long antenna on the back of the car?
No, I have a Magnum mount on top.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Duh. No shit. Tushar, where can people find you on the internet?
At Depressing Instagram.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I plug.
Oh, yeah? Well, then the movie, too.
S-I-N-G-H, right?
Yeah, so S-I-N-G, so Depress, Depress, and then my last name Singh. And so the movie that we shot when I was there, we're still in post-production for it. It's kind of just like a lot of footage. It's like 100 hours of footage, and we're still filming.
Mm-hmm.
And we have interviews. So we're just in post-production, and movies fucking suck. Like, they're not fun to do and make because every step of the way, someone needs something and there's money involved and they're all important. It's like
13-hour days,
13-hour days,
and then you hate everything you make like halfway through it,
and then you have to you go through an edit and here it is. It's like, okay, no, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. It's like so meticulous. I could never sit in an edit bay and do what they do. But so anyways, we hope to release it probably by middle of next year, like 2016.
Okay.
And then
what's the title of it?
So right now it's called American Hussy, and Hussy is laughter in Hindi. But we're still working on the title. Like, I think we're going to change it once we get a rough cut of the film.
Hussy.
Hussy.
And make the S's dollar
signs. I don't know, yeah. Hassle, American Hassle.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, there's a lot more work to be done for that. But hopefully it comes out, and then like by the time it comes out, I'm doing something in India that's like kind of be cool to like start something. See the progression of it, and it should be fun. But I don't know. It's like it's pretty scary to leave America. Just the idea of not being here anymore.
Right.
It's like a nice utopia here.
Yeah. But you can always come back if it doesn't work.
I'm also 34. Like, I can't just be like, oh, I'm just 6 more years. Like, like it's gonna happen. But if it was like younger, not that it has that much big difference, but it's a little bit more time.
Or somebody younger than you, no matter who you are.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's a lot of people older than you, as we see.
By your
on Depressing.
Yeah. Depressing.
But I mean, the usually thing I plug is our show.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so Tushar and I, along with our friend Neil Nando, we produce a show called Unnecessary Evil that you can see every Friday night. But yeah, you can follow us on Twitter. We're at The Goods Pod, Facebook.com/The Goods Pod. Rate and review on iTunes. That helps us out. Leave a comment. Song of the week this week. We're going to hear something from Diamond Rugs. They've put out one of my favorite records this year. And this song is called I Couldn't Help It.
Please don't find another. Don't want no faces on my own.
The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.